Welcome back.
Hey guys, glad you can join the episode 9 of LeBuck's Ring. In this one we are finally creating the gold shader. It's a little bit complicated, but just bear with me, I know you can do it. So let's get started. Our region of interest is right here. Once you zoom in, you can see it says Skull Reflect and Skull Cook Torrents. So let's create those two materials. Add a Reflect and a Cook Torrents material and put them into their boxes. Now here you can see our normal map, and of course for normal maps we need a bump map node as well. So drop it in already. Remember, if you are using normal maps, you want to set this to bump map. Hook the normal map into the bump node.
Show them the normal map, man.
Let me show you the normal map. There. And the bump map node we hook into the reflect materials bump slot.
Bump slot?
Press Alt while releasing to pick a slot and choose bump texture.
Can't see no slots.
Now if you view the shader, you won't see anything because there is nothing to reflect at the moment. Also, we have not defined a base color. We can do so by adding a simple background tool or another material. Here we're gonna use our Cook Torrents material, which we hook into the background material slot. Let's get some reflections going on here. On the left you can find the HDR images, and with HDR images we always need to use the sphere map tool. The sphere map tool maps the HDR image on an environment. If you view it now, you can see that we now have a 360-degree environment map. Now this one we hook into the reflect color material slot, and immediately you can see that the material is now reflective, and we can also see the bump map. I want to apologize, I should have first done the HDR and then the bump map. Sorry about that,
bastard.
pirate mistake.
You suck, man. Yeah, what the heck?
So let's bring this further. This Cook Torrents material is the material which contains the color informations. So of course here we want to use our skull color texture. Alt release and choose diffuse color material. Let's also use our skull gloss, this one here. And as you should know by now, specular maps or glass maps need to be shifted into the alpha channel. Let's do that. Add a Boolean tool, then hook in the glass map. And we say put the red from the input to the alpha. If you zoom in now and view it with the alpha by clicking this checkbox icon here, you can see our map became transparent. This map can now be used for the specularity. So grab it and pipe it into the Cook Torrents specular color, specular intensity, and what the heck, the roughness material as well. Next, I want to show you an advanced technique that uses a Boolean 3D tool in order to combine several materials together. But let's tweak our materials first. So select the Cook Torrents and expand the modifier here and bring the color down to black. Then open the specular drop-down. For the green channel, set it to 0.496. For the blue, set it to 0. Now change the specular roughness to 0.228. Clicking the middle mouse button allows you to preview using a temporary light. So this material is going to be a secondary material layer which will be affected by lights. Turn off Fresnel here, as our material is gold, and gold has a very high Fresnel value, like between 8 and 20 or something. I thought it's so high that we can simply turn it off. Of course, feel free to try with Fresnel. Let's bring the reflections further. Select the reflect material and set the glazing strength to 1 and the phasing strength to 1. Now this looks like a chrome ball, but gold is basically a tinted chrome. And in order to tint the reflections, I will simply tint the HDR image. Add a color correct node and set the tint to something about 0.0935 and the strength to 0.452.
Hey, don't worry, he's gonna kill it anyway later with his post-color correction.
What the hell is correction, you douchebag?
He means correction, spelled with a K.
It's spelled with a C, you idiots!
Did you just call me idiot? Come over here. I'm gonna bust your ass.
Then additionally blurred the HDR image using a size of 29 to smooth out the reflections. Good, now we're gonna do something special. Click here and add a Boolean 3D tool. And this Boolean can be now used to combine materials. Don't confuse it with the merge material tool. That one lets you simply blend between two materials.
Are you alright, buddy?
Excuse me. The Boolean 3D tool though is very versatile, as you can use different blending modes for each channel. So let's do that. Hook in the reflect and the cook torients into the Boolean, and if you view it now, nothing will change.
Nothing would change.
This is because we have yet to set an operation, and at the moment it's set to A, which takes the material hooked into A, and if we set this to A plus B, which is an add operation, it will add the A material to the B material. And this is pretty cool because it now looks like we have a second layer. And again, middle mouse button to manipulate the light. Great, time to add an OpenGL renderer. For that we go up here and grab a copy of the ground diffuse GL renderer, for example, and then go down to the skull gold box and paste it in. Now here on the same height as these, drop in a merge 3D, hook it into the renderer and a spotlight as well.
Where? Where's the gold?
Hook it into the merge 3D. Add a replace material and here branch out from this router to get our skull object. Then we take our Boolean 3D and hook it into the replace material. Alt click for the router here. And let's view this merge 3D. You should be seeing something like this. It looks good, but in order to actually see our constructed shader here, we need a light. The reflect material doesn't need lights, but the cook torrents does. That's why I have a light here. Select the light and tweak this. Let's set the color first. The red channel to 0.77, the green to 0.65, and the blue to 0.46. Set the decay type to quadric, the decay rate to 0.59. The cone angle pretty high to 56.2948. The penumbra to 20, and that's it for the controls. Swing over to the transform tab and zoom out a bit. And now in the X offset type 1.734, the Y offset to 0.292, the Z offset to 0.71, and let's take care of a rotation as well. The X rotation set to minus 131.095, the Y rotation to 67.261, and the Z rotation to minus 96.281. So you can see now we've placed our light. Because our cone angle is pretty wide, we cover the whole area. You can also see our orange light here. We can scrub through now, or view it through the camera. And yeah, okay, it looks awesome, but let's render this out.
Yeah, let's do it finally.
Now take a look here.
Where?
Doesn't this look somewhat bleached out? I'll show you why. Okay, so we've been working in the 3D viewport all the time, and let's say this is the look that we actually want. Now, the thing is that the 2D viewer uses a lookup table. This one here. As soon as we deactivate the lookup table, you can see that actually now it matches with the 3D view representation here. Okay, so but it actually means that this is actually the correct setting here, and this is not, because this has no lookup table applied to it. You can do so by going into global options, buffer LUT, enable. Then after that you have to choose the gamut, and after that you have to one more time come into this menu and choose edit, and then set your settings that you would set here in this one here. It's basically you go to the same steps, so it's a little bit annoying because you have to do so many clicks. Okay, but let's say that this is what we actually want. We worked on our shader all the time to get this thing looking sexy, and now we get something like this, you know. We don't want to go back to the settings and darken our textures or darken our lights or whatsoever. No. We can just simply add another gamut after the rendering with the source space set to sRGB, and by doing so you will get the same result as in the viewport. Now, talking about this lookup table and gamma thing, I want to show you something that I'm not quite sure. Since I'm not a technical guy, I'm not quite sure what's going on behind the surface, and I assume that I did something wrong in the past, and I apologize if you have followed my instructions thinking that was correct. I'm not sure. So the thing is, let me show you. Here we have the background tool, and let me put the renderer of the skull into the left viewer, and let's assume we want to pick a color from the skull here. So in the background tool, you would go and pick a color from the skull, and let's say this color here. One more time, this one here. Now it seems that here in the viewer the color looks correct, it matches, but here in the background options, you can see that this color actually represents the same color as if we would turn off the lookup table. So this led me to the idea that there might be a setting in the preferences, and I actually found it. Now in global and default settings, if you check under user interface, you have this gamma aware color control. If you check that, you can set the gamma to 2.2, and bang, now look, this color matches the pick color actually now. Okay, so what I did before I knew this checkbox, what I did was to actually apply a gamut to every background tool and every renderer, and I set the source space to sRGB so that this color in the viewer would match this color here. Now it doesn't match because I have the checkbox checked, okay? But you remember that this color was the same as this one. I'm not quite sure because it's a big mystery to me because it's also not documented. But now it kind of makes sense, okay? It makes sense, and now I've discovered this gamma checkbox over the course of this tutorial, but it was a little too late, so I did actually not use it for this tutorial. Just keep it in mind for your next project.
Yeah. Great! We have concluded the skull go pass. I'm gonna play this through for ya, and then let's move on to the next pass. My name is Vito. I'll see you soon. Until then, enjoy what you're doing.
Wanna say yo ho ho, yo ho ho, say yo ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho. Wow.